The Central Bank of Nigeria has insisted its decision to redesign some Naira notes followed the law and due process. The Apex Bank reaction follows the response of the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, who said the ministry was not consulted before the decision to redesign the Naira notes. CBN spokesman Osita Nwasobe, in a statement today, said the management of Apex Bank, in line with provisions of the CBN Act 2007, had duly sought and obtained the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari in writing to redesign and circulate new banknotes. He added that the decision to redesign the notes was due to several challenges which threatened the currency, stating that the bank's top priority is to safeguard the integrity of the local legal tender. Mr. Nwasobe further stated that the effort will, among other goals, deepen Nigeria's push to entrench a cashless economy in the face of increased minting of the e-Naira, urging all Nigerians to support the currency redesign, adding that it was in the overall interest of the nation as well as the economy. And now to our coverage of the ravaging floods in some parts of the country. Enugu State Emergency Management Agency has commenced the distribution of relief materials to the 5 communities in Uzunwani local government area affected by the recent flood. The state coordinator assured that the state government will do its best to sustain and impact the lives of those affected by the disaster. Omdili Ajayi has more.
The Director General of National Emergency Agency, NEMA, recently visited Enugu State with relief materials worth millions of naira to complement the state government effort set out to mitigate sufferings of flood victims. Enugu is listed among the 33 states that will be benefiting from the relief material. Now, the State Emergency Agency, SEMA team, arrived Ogurugu and Ojo communities of Uzuwani local government area to meet the need of the victims.
And the affected persons are very happy over the support from both the state and the federal government. We know that these relief materials in no way equate the losses suffered by these affected persons. However, it cushioned the impacts of this flood disaster on their lives.
People who are mostly into rice farming lamented, say their farm produce, houses and property have been washed away. Assembled here are the representatives of the 5 communities affected by the flood disaster. The community heads expressed joy at this gesture.
Look at their faces, they are all smiling. Smiling means happiness.
They also want government to move beyond providing them with food, material, and requested for more aid to be given to replenish the loss on their farmland as a result of flood devastation.
If not this quick intervention now, I don't think we'll cope. You see, because all our farm land has been damaged.
What we are crying for government, federal, state, is to help us. More than 5,550 people rendered homeless, and in almost 150,000 hectares of land submerged by flood this year.
Over 30,200 persons are displaced, with 1 casualty in Enugu State. The 5 communities that are mostly affected in the recent flooding are Ogurugu, Iga Ojo, Adani, Obosu, and Asaba in Oboli and Mbanaso zone of Uzuwani local government area of the state. Bamidele Ajayi, TVC News, Enugu.
In the meantime, the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers has asked government at all levels to be more proactive in mitigating future occurrences of flooding. Addressing newsmen in Abuja, the institution is worried at the numbers of affected states and displaced persons, with some having lost their lives and property. Correspondent Habidalawa reports.
The government of Nigeria had warned state and local government areas to prepare for flooding that could last until the end of November. Floods in the country have affected 27 states since February this year. It further worsened, with the number of fatalities and displacement increasing over the last week. On 16 October, Nigeria's Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, reported that 603 people have now died in floods in the country since February this year. The institution of estate surveyors and valuers has indicted state governments over their lack of preparedness. They ask that citizens should be adequately sensitized on climate change and their part in ensuring a safer environment.
We urge the government to marshal more resources and deploy with speed to the affected areas through the appropriate agencies and arms of government to prevent the spread of cholera and other transmitted diseases, inasmuch as the problem is yet to abate.
Incidents of flooding in recent years have been devastating and continue to pose a serious challenge to food production, food security and livelihoods. The institution has advised that proactive utilization of geographical information systems and meteorological data to improve early warning systems and reduce people's exposure to flood risk is highly needed at this time. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
And the Federal Road Safety Corps has warned against overspeeding and use of unsafe tires while driving. This has come in as the Corps flagged off its Ember Month campaign with the theme Avoid Speeding, Overloading and Unsafe Tires to Arrive Alive. TVC News correspondent Theophilus Elama reports.
According to figures by the Federal Road Safety Corps, a total of 74 deaths were recorded in various traffic crashes in the second quarter of 2022. According to the Corps, about 232 people were injured within the period, adding that 10 deaths were recently recorded in the Shagamu fire incident. This informed the flag-off of the Ember Month campaign aimed at sensitizing motorists on the dangers of engaging in road vices.
There are so many of our drivers on the road that are having one defect or the other, one eye defect or the other. It is not that common for us to come across drivers of passenger vehicles using eyeglasses. And it is just because of ignorance.
They should be focused and not be distracted whenever they are on the wheel. They should observe most of the signs on the dashboard. There are some kits that should always be with them whenever they are on journey.
It's worthy to note that the Ember Month is set to bring so much carnage, especially on the roads becoming busy during the period. The Corps called on Nigerians to be at the vanguard of ensuring that safety precautions are adhered to.
Be conscious when you are in a vehicle as a passenger. Do not sleep. Operation Speak Out. You have to speak out as a passenger. Many of us are so even indisciplined as commuters too. The moment we enter a vehicle, under 2 minutes, look at your back. They are all snoring.
Your life first and the safety of the life of people that you are carrying is very, very paramount and important. And Ember Month is associated with a lot of evils, but a lot of these evils are even caused by some of us.
With this flag off, it is expected that the Corps will go full swing as they strive to reduce the total number of road traffic crashes on Nigerian roads. Theophilus Elama, TVC News, Lagos.
This housing estate in Kurudu area of Abuja has sent an appeal to the FCT minister as well as the Inspector General of Police alleging high charges and acts threatening their security by the developer of the estate. Senior correspondent Jokadisa reports.
In the last 5 years, there has been no love lost between the developer of this estate and the residents. The disagreements have led both parties in and out of the court. The residents accuse the developer of high charges, lack of infrastructure, and acts capable of threatening their security. They also disagreed with the placement of a school beside what they call a nightclub.
We are calling the FCDA minister, the minister of FCT, to please come and the police, the IG, please, we have written several letters through several IGs. We need you to come here and see things and then tell whether we are just making noise.
I have arrested so many armed robbers in this estate and hand over to the police. We bought house from the developer, but the developer want to provide security for us. We are not going to take it.
We don't have control of the gates, of the entrance of the estate, and all manners of people coming to the estate to do one thing or the other.
But responding to the allegations, the developer, through one of the contractors and a homeowner in the estate, insists there is no basis for the protest. He argues that the recreational center the residents refer to as a nightclub will in no way disturb the school. Besides, all the demands of the residents have been met.
As a member of the association, I'm not even aware there will be a protest, but I vividly know there is an issue before concerning the association and the developer where I'm working. And when the issue was on, to an extent they went to court. After going to court, we decided to resolve the matter amicably in-house.
The developer, through a public-private partnership arrangement, was expected to have developed the 45 hectares of land in 3 years from 2010. With a consent judgment, the developer says it awaits the evacuation of the illegal occupiers of the 13 hectares to complete its contract and hand over the estates.
The community took the developer to court, and the developer later has his judgment. The court said he should stop his development based on the 45 hectares. So the other 13 hectares is what they are fighting now to take from the community because of the shanty buildings and illegal structures that are in police land.
The FCT authorities no doubt have a role to play in resolving the impasse in the estate in the interest of peaceful and harmonious coexistence. Joke Edson, TVC News, Abuja.